All right, we are on to lesson 4, mod 5, and our objective this time is to actually see what a unit fraction can break down into as far as a smaller fraction goes. For example, remember when we folded our paper and we had thirds, and we folded it in half again and it gave us 6. There were more 6 than there were thirds because they were smaller pieces. So because they're fractions, the number on the bottom, the denominator, is the number that determines how many pieces you have. And the bigger that number, the smaller your pieces. It's a little different than normal numbers. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to draw this. It represents 1/3. But then I want you to take either a pen or a pencil, something that's different, and divide each of these thirds in half and figure out what you get. Let me say that again. Draw this. Then divide each of your thirds in half and see what unit fraction you get. Pause. So you should see that the fraction you now have is 1/6. We had a third, and now we have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So originally we had 1/3. What do we have now? Well, if you said we have 1/6 and 1/6, you're right. And what is 1/6 plus 1/6? Well, it's equal to 2/6. So we can say 1/3 and 2/6 are equivalent. What we're going to do is we are going to actually make a number bond to represent that. We're going to put 1/3 up here. And what did we say it broke into? Yeah, 1/6 and 1/6. So down here we have these labeled as 1/6. I'm going to use a red pen. Up here, this whole thing is worth 1/3. So 1/3 is equivalent to 1/6 and 1/6. They are the same. Once I split them, they were the same. You could also show this with multiplication by saying that 1/3 is equal to 2, 1, 2, times 1/6, which still gives me 2/6. What I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to take a different colored pencil or pen, and I'd like you to cut each of your 6 in half. Now before I do that, I'm going to shade a little bit better in my 6 because I know my pieces, by cutting it again, are going to get much smaller. And I don't want to end up not being able to see everything I had shaded in. So go ahead and cut each 6 in half. Pause while you do it. What fraction did you just make? What is my unit fraction now? Well, let's see how many pieces there are total in this whole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I now have 12ths. So while looking at this, let's go ahead and think about what 1/6 equals. Well, 1/6 equals how many 12ths are in a 6? Remember, this little half part was a 6. We have it right here. Well, there are 2. So 1/6 is the same as saying 1/12 plus 1/12, which is the same as saying 2/12. Great job. And then if I want to, I can say I have 2 1/12. It's the same thing, just using multiplication. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to get from 1/3 and figure out how many 12ths it takes to make up a third. So let's look at my 12ths. Here's my whole third. And this piece right here is 1/12. So how many 12ths do we see in there? So 1/3 we knew was 1/6 plus 1/6. 1/6 plus 1/6. Now let's move to 12ths. How many 12ths is that? 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12. Check that out. Because these right here, 1/12 plus 1/12 is the same as 1/6. 1/12 plus 1/12 is the same as 1/6. what does all of that equal? 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4/12. Thanks, bud. 4/12. Or 4 times 1/12. So 1/3 is equivalent to 4/12, which we can see from our picture. 1, 2, 3, 4/12 are the same as 1/3. The next one we're going to look at is a little more complex. It's a lot more parts to it. I would like you to draw this tape model where the whole is represented, and we have cut it into fifths. We've shaded in 1/5, and we've written it above. Go ahead and draw that tape model. Pause. All right, now that you have this, what you're going to do is you're going to divide each of your pieces, each of your fifths, by 3. You're going to put them into 3 equal parts. The way I want you to do it is I want you to actually do a dotted line, because that's what you're actually going to see on your problem set, is something laid out like this. So you're going to cut each one into thirds. I hope you're doing it now as I'm doing it with you. So our job is to figure out what 1/5 equals. Well, looking at it, 1/5 equals 3 of whatever the heck we just cut it into. Well, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we've cut them into 15ths. So 1/5 is the same as 3 of these 15ths. Which is like saying 3 groups of 15ths. Which is 3 15ths. Or 3 15ths. Now that we see this, I want you to think not just about 1/5 equaling 3 15ths or being equivalent to. How would I represent 2 fifths? What would that look like? If 1/5 equals 3 15ths, how much does 2 fifths equal? See if you can figure that out. Write out your number sentence and then your multiplication sentence. Pause. So here's my first layout. I had 2 fifths, and I put my 15ths underneath, and I ended up with 6 15ths. That's addition. Let's go ahead and look at multiplication. We're going to do 1 here. If I had 2 fifths, oh, I'm sorry, this isn't multiplication yet. I actually bundled these because I didn't want to keep writing 15ths. I wanted to show you could do it either way. So one or the other. Now let's look at multiplication. If I have 2 fifths, it's like saying, how many 15ths? 6 15ths. So 6 groups of a 15th. 6 times 1/15 is 6 15ths. So we can say that 2 fifths equals 6 15ths. All right, the last thing you're going to do on your board is I'm going to show you a number sentence, and I want you to create the tape model that goes with it. I want you to go backwards. There it is. I want you to take it backwards, create a tape model to help you get from 2/6 to 4/12. I'll give you a hint. You have to do this one first. Pause. If you need to find a partner to do this, you may go ahead and do that. If this is what you got, you are correct. I had 2/6. 6 is half of 12, so I cut them in half, therefore giving me 12 units now. I wrote 1/12 under each. I had 4 of them, just like up here. To go ahead and do a number bond, it would look a little like this. I know that they're going to be 12ths because that's what I found in my sentence. This also could have been represented in multiplication. So 2/6 equals 4 times 1/12 or 4/12. Go ahead and find a partner to work on the problem set. Take your time.